The pastor today is going to be Mr. Reverend Vince Spencer from the New Life Fellowship. If everyone would stand for the invocation, followed by the pledge.
Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to be here today. Let's pray. Father in heaven, we are so grateful that we have the freedom to gather as we are gathered here today. We thank you we have the freedom to worship as we choose to worship. And Lord, today we acknowledge you as our Creator, our Savior, and our source of wisdom and strength. And so, God, today as this board carries out business, I pray, Lord, that you would grant them the wisdom of Solomon to be able to do as you see fit. I pray, God, that you'd grant them patience and understanding as they deal with delicate issues. And Lord, when conflict may arise, I pray, God, that you would give them the strength and insight to resolve it in a way that is going to be beneficial to this community. And Father, I pray your blessings upon all those that serve in this area of leadership. I pray your blessings upon our leaders from the lowest to the highest level throughout our government system. And Father, I pray, God, you would bless our nation, bless our county and our community. And we pray this in Jesus' name.
Amen. Everyone would please follow me in the flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. At this time, we need to adopt the agenda. Everyone will please take a chance to look over if there's any changes they want to make.
Sure, I'd like to pull up. I have a little more discussion on that. Put it on the agenda.
Okay, we'll move item I to we'll put it behind communications, because that shouldn't be too awful long, and that's a lot. That one may be a little bit longer. Anyone else? Okay, we need a motion to adopt this agenda.
So, Mr. Chairman.
Have a motion? Have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Everyone in favor? Aye. Okay, now we need a motion to adopt the minutes for the January 18th, 2017 workshop and the January 26th, 2017 board meeting.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Have a motion?
Second.
And a second. All in favor?
Aye.
To the non-agenda audience, would you mind, Mr. Goodman?
Don't mind at all. Washington County Board of County Commissioners welcomes your input in the public comment portion of this meeting. While your comments are appreciated, please be aware this is not a political forum, nor is it a time for personal accusations and derogatory personal remarks. Profane or vulgar language is not permitted. In order to maintain respect for all points of view, the board requests no clapping, booing, or any other form of support or non-support be used. This is not a question and answer session. It is the general policy of Washington County that no official action will be taken on items brought to the board at this time. However, the board may at its discretion direct staff to assist in looking into the matter further. Please direct your comments to the chairman and provide any documentation to the county manager for disbursement. If you would like to address the board, we would ask that you come to the podium, state your name and address and the topic you'll be discussing. Please limit your comments to no more than 3 minutes. At the end of your time, the chairman will ask you to finish your thought, and then please take your seat. Your participation is welcomed and appreciated.
All right, thank you, Mr. Goodman. First up, we have Ms. Sharon Barr.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask before we get started with that, can we go, you want to do the presentation or you want to wait? Because I don't think that group may want to go and get out of here.
Well, they're signed up, and I've only got 4.
Oh, okay.
So, but I will.
Well, it's up to you. I just was a suggestion to the group.
Ms. Sharon,
Yes.
step up to the podium if you would, please. And please state your name for the record.
My name is Sharon Barr, PAHR, and I live at 3447 Voyager Court in Sun Hills, Florida. And what I want to address today is the possible closing of the Sunny Hills Library. It's only open one day a week. and it's really not enough because a lot of people don't have the opportunity to be up there for the one day. But it's also used, the part of the building is used for the council on aging for different functions, especially on Wednesdays. And what is going to happen to that if the library closes? I feel also that maybe possibly the county could consider using or maybe rewriting the ordinance for the MSBU and doing a donation to keep the library open. I think it would benefit Sunny Hills, and that's what the MSBU is for, to benefit Sunny Hills. And that's what I would like to see.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Bowden. We will probably get into that when that is what Mr. Abbott removed, so we'll get to some discussion on that. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, next we have Kathy, please. I know I said that.
It's okay. Kathy Gusline, 1983 Baldwin Street in Sunny Hills. Again, thank you for letting me address you today. A lot of what I had planned to say, Sharon has said already, but I believe that there's a trickle-down effect if the library would close. There's a bingo group, and also that building is a polling place. And my question is, if the library would close, what would happen?
I don't think, we don't have, I mean, the only thing that would close, in my opinion, would be the library. I don't think the building would go away or any of the other functions with the building.
Okay.
I think it's just actually the day and the function of the library through the library.
Okay, that's good to know. But with the closing of the library, I'm thinking that possibly not all the options for keeping it open have been explored. Ms. Roundtree stated that there's safety concerns. Maybe those need to be addressed before the library's just done away with. Possibly there's more lighting that could be added if, after dark is a concern. Maybe there's a sheriff's deputy that could be there when the library closed, since it's just one day a week. Or adjust the hours to where the library closes before it gets dark. Just seems that all the options for keeping it open have not been exhausted. The bingo group loves being there, and I would hate for all those elderly people to not have that socialization. Some of them, that's the only socialization they get. They really look forward to that once a week. I really wish that this, the closing could be tabled and give it some more thought. Just think that it would be a shame for Sunny Hills to lose the library. Let the citizens of Sunny Hills with the MSBU, if there's an advisory board that's created, let that be something that is explored to be able to keep it open. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it.
If you, like I said, if you stick around just a little bit longer, we don't have a whole lot to go over, and we will get into that discussion here in just a little bit. Miss Betty Dickey.
Thank you for allowing me to speak. Betty Dickey, 2121 in Gore Drive, Sunny Hills. I'm very concerned about the library. I understand there's a lot of cost that is involved with it. My understanding, a lot of the cost is that the library system is having to pay for all the utilities that for this building, even though people rent it out on the weekends and leave air conditioning or heating going all weekend. The library is still responsible for that. And I think this is unfair for the library system to be responsible for that. Also, there is a need for more internet service. Sunny Hills, it's hard to get internet service, I'm aware of that. I have AT&T, and I believe if you will check that internet service should be available to all educational systems, and I believe the library should be considered educational. Also, the numbers are down, but the library is only open 1 day a week. I think if it was open more, we would have higher numbers. People are still moving into Sunny Hills. It's not dead like everybody thinks. It's people are moving in all the time. Younger people, they need a children's program, which if they were open more, all the other libraries have a day a week, they have a children's program, preschool or something. And I think this should be available to Sunny Hills also. More staff is needed. They could get use of an NCBA worker, which is a senior adult program, and they have used this before and they've hired people off of this program. This would be available to apply more employment there. There are other, there's many things that you can look at there. And I ask that you, our elected officials, would look at this and table this and have more discussion on it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hey, will you call and see if Ms. Roundtree's available for later?
She is not. She's in Tallahassee trying to get more grant money. Miss Susan, Miss Susan may be able to make. I'll try to get in touch with Susan.
She's here. She's here.
Okay, y'all, we have a Miss Lucy. And I'm not gonna even get us started.
It's not that difficult. My name is Larissa McHughes. I live at 1768 Matara Court in Sunny Hills. I'm totally against having the library closed, mainly because it is being utilized. We have not had internet for a month, so people are not showing up. What I don't understand is why does the library have to pick up all the payments for that whole building? I do know that the guts of the computer is in the kitchen of the other part of the building, and that has to stay cool. That could be moved into the library in the spare room, so it doesn't have to, so the other part of the building doesn't have to be kept cool. You're hurting the people that are coming into Sunny Hills that are moving in. You're also hurting people that utilize the building. We're having new people come in with children. They're going to be using the library, but if it's only open 1 day a week, it's hurting people. And for the past month, without having internet, it's hurt the library, the attendance. At one time, it was open 3 days a week. Then it was 2 days a week. Now it's 1 day a week. And now they're talking about closing it down. Now, you mentioned, Mr. Kent, you mentioned that you would close the library but keep the other building open. Who's going to pay for those utilities?
I want Hank to check on that for me real quick, because I'm not 100% sure that
It's my understanding that the library is paying for all the utilities.
It used to be that way, but it was breaking Renee's budget, and it's no longer that way.
I mean, because I signed the checks, and I've signed the checks for down there. I don't know if they were split, and sometimes I don't know the exact code, but I don't think that is the case any longer. I think we pay that.
You pay the utilities? All of it?
From what?
That's correct. The library used to pay for the utilities for the whole building, but she's allotted a certain amount in her budget, and her budget could not absorb that amount, so we split them up, so that she pays her portion and the building pays.
Okay, but I really feel that you're going to really hurt a lot of people in Sunny Hills by closing that library. And it's like Miss Dickey said, or Mrs. Dickey mentioned, bring in these other people that can help to have another person. Yes, there is a safety concern because the lighting that's there is inappropriate for the library. You were there last week. You saw how dark it was when you came out of your meeting. And that is a safety concern. To have a light that just doesn't even cover the front door is uncalled for. You put regular lights up there. And if you do keep MSBU, see if you can do something or have a workshop to keep the library open. That's all I have to say. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Susan Cook has a leak at So I'm just saying
that. I know the Nelson family that y'all have signed up. Did y'all want to speak or do you want to? Okay. All right. Well, at this time, since they're all here and they did sign up, Sheriff, if you want us all, board, we'll go ahead and do the presentation, and the Nelson family, if y'all want to step up.
You want to call on the Raymond? Kevin Cruz. I'm the Sheriff of Washington County. It's a pleasure to meet you. This time I want to take just a minute to introduce you. This is Commissioner Trey Hawkins, Commissioner Steve Joyner,
Nice to meet you, Pat.
Commissioner Alan Bush, Commissioner Todd Abbott, and Commissioner Charles Kent. Are you looking good?
Yeah, I need.
I'm Kevin Cruz. Pleased to meet you guys. Pleased to meet you. If y'all don't know what we're doing here today, real quick, I'll explain. We had a situation a few weeks ago where we had an individual with several small kids in a vehicle. It was down in the south part of our county, and it actually bogged that vehicle down. And when I say small kids, I'm talking there were some babies in this vehicle. Well, I think what the driver of this vehicle got worried about the water that she was stuck in, and was worried about the water basically getting in the engine of the vehicle and didn't want to damage the vehicle. Not so sure the vehicle didn't have exhaust problems, so she stayed there and basically was revving the motor up, and unbeknownst to her, what she was doing is fill the cab of that vehicle up with fumes from that engine, which in turn put carbon monoxide in the cab of that truck. So this little guy right here was down there that day and seen what was going on and stopped. And I firmly believe if it hadn't have been for Raymond Nelson stopping and rendering aid and actually assisting in getting those kids out of that vehicle, this would have had a very, very tragic outcome. And thanks to him, we believe he saved the lives of those babies in that car. So what the board did today is with 100% of the Washington County Sheriff's Department supporting them, they wanted to represent or recognize. They wanted to recognize Mr. Nelson, and that's what we're doing here today. And then what it says, Raymond, it says certificate of appreciation, and it's presented to you. The Washington County Board of County Commissioners thanks you for your leadership and your heroic actions displayed on January the 31st, 2017. And on behalf of the Washington County Sheriff's Department, son, we appreciate everything you did that day. All right?
Raymond, tip your hat back, please.
Please say goodbye.
You have the first.
I think you was deer hunting, wasn't you?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You had a good year deer hunting?
Not really.
I I hope you're running your dog. Good job. Good job. Good dog.
Well, yes, sir.
Okay, we're to the consent agenda.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, Mr. French was not able to sign up. The sheet was gone, but anyway, if he could speak at the non-agenda portion, I would carry on.
Okay, okay. Mr. Frank?
Good morning. My name is Miller French. I live at 736 Rice Creek Road, Caryville. The city council chairman, and I'm here on their behalf to petition for the fire department to be given back to the city. And we promise to make you proud.
Thank you, sir.
Honest. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. French. Thank you, Mr. French.
Okay. Now we're to the consent agenda. And what we'll be approving would be the request, the approval for the clerk of the court to pay vouchers for January 2017 totaling $1,683,664.43. Then we have the Florida Economic Opportunity Resolution, BP oil spill. We have the TDC filling seat number 7 with Bill Mathis. We have TDC Visitors Guide. We recommend that Gatehouse Media to provide tourist developed visitor guide. Transportation Alternative Grant Resolution to apply for a grant to fund construction of lighting on Falling Waters multi-use path. The Florida Board of Improvement Program Resolution, support staff to apply for funding to add additional facilities and improvements to Culpeper Landing. Hazardous Mitigation Grant Program, support staff to apply for funds through the Hazardous Mitigation Grant for the purchase of installation of generators at the Washington County Health Department. We have the Communication Committee expenditure, County Warning Point, Communication Committee to assist in purchase of 3 computers for the dispatch center. We took off agenda I and would not be heard later. J will be the task order number 9, that is for the FEMA. Then we have the SCOP programs, submit Greenhead Road from Highway 77 to Fox Pond, approximately 4 miles, and River Road from the end of pavement to Pay Pond. L is a 319 grant program authorizing to apply for funding to aid in improving Strickland Road. M, engineering, continuing professional services agreement with Dewberry Engineering, which changed from Pebble Ridge. And then for a dump truck repair, dump truck number 2959 to be repaired, Man Automotive Diesel. I need a motion for that.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second. I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I'm going to make one slight change. Ms. Cook has a prior engagement, so I want to get her up here first. So I'm going to move the library up first for the agenda items. Commissioner Abbott?
I just love and respect our library director, Ms. Renee Roundtree. I just want to make sure on behalf of the citizens that we've exhausted all efforts, including, you know, Hank, I don't know whether we need to supplement how much we need to get involved, but even when you're looking at selling real estate, people coming in. It's nice to be able to say that you've got a functioning library. It may not be full-time. I want to look at getting with Ms. Roundtree and seeing if we've exhausted all efforts to keep this thing open. That's all I'm saying. I mean, y'all heard and it's unsolicited by me, the people that's come in here, but I've received a couple of calls, and I think there was an email that was going around that I've just found out about, haven't even read, but I just think that we need to make sure that we're doing the right thing for them residents. I understand that the numbers are down, and financially it's not as cost effective as the rest of the libraries, but I want to make sure that we're exhausting all efforts before we do that. Again, our department head, Ms. Renee Roundtree, I have all the love and respect for her, doing a great job. And I know that this is a difficult decision on her behalf to say that she wants to close it, but I want to make sure that we've done everything that we can to keep it open.
I think the board expressed the same concerns at the workshop.
We did.
Yeah, we sure don't want to inadvertently close something that is a betterment of the community by no means. But there were some ideas brought up today about maybe using some MSBU funds to help out. Jeff, is that legal or?
I've never looked at MSBU funds or MSTU funds for a library service. Is that something I can bring back to the board in March if you'd like me to? I've never researched the applicability.
That's a service that's provided to the community. Yes, it's up to the rest of the commission.
Mr. Chairman, can I make a suggestion that we table this until we can possibly set an MSBU advisory committee and look at it a little further?
Are you making that in the form of a motion?
Yes, sir, I'll make that a motion.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
See if Ms. Susan wants to speak on behalf of that.
We can't hear you.
I'm sorry. Basically, what we just did was table it until we can do some further research. And hopefully, Ms. Cook, do you want to speak, or?
I'm just here to observe because most of you who know me know I'm the field worker. I don't know about all these details,
Well,
but I understand the concerns, and we're all for trying harder if we can find ways to do it.
Yeah, and what we did by tabling this is we're going to task county administrator to find out what we can do. The county attorney's going to look into the MSBU option. We're going to get everything together and hopefully get with Ms. Roundtree, and then we'll have her available at the next meeting that we bring this up, so we can actually have some question and answer, because she is the authority on the library.
Exactly.
So that's what happened. So everybody clear with that? Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Thank you.
So are they going to close the library March the 5th?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, maybe for clarification, the public may need to know when we're going to discuss the MSBU appointees at the next workshop. Is that correct?
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
So that kind of gives you an idea.
Yes.
Okay, but we're still not going to have internet, correct?
No, ma'am.
Why don't we have
Why?
that?
Well, Trey's the authority on that.
Why don't we have internet?
He had that discussion.
I thought we had a fair minimum, but we had it.
That was my understanding too, Commissioner Abbott. The internet we had there was insufficient, really, for what the needs were. But to my knowledge, we still had it. I didn't know it was completely.
I just thought it was
We
dialed.
haven't had it for a month.
Ms. Cook?
Can I speak to that briefly?
Yes, ma'am.
AT&T has, and some of the problems with the wiring of the building, as I understand it, have been a perpetual problem. And for some reason, for about the last month, the internet has been down. Even though we've called and they've apparently come to check, it's still down. So we have ongoing problems with our internet.
I'll personally make a phone call on the behalf of the library to AT&T and work on see how we can rectify the situation. And it was a good point. Someone brought up about the school. I'm not exactly sure which one of the speakers brought it up about the high-speed internet at the school, and that is a ongoing thing throughout the state of Florida. And if we can, I will find out that question as well, and maybe we can upgrade the system through some funding elsewhere. And that was a great point. Everybody brought that up, and we'll work that route too.
It being an educational facility.
Yes, and I'll work along with our county administrator if that's all right with you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
To see,
You were the
to see how we can,
internet guru.
see how we can rectify that, and I appreciate the bus deals.
All right, Mr. Sal, you be the last one.
You got AT&T U-verse going down the south side of Sunny Hills Boulevard. They can run a line right to that library.
Well, I think
That's how close it is.
That's something that Trey had brought
No,
up
I'm
at the
just saying.
workshop.
It is there.
I think that's something he's gonna look into, just to.
Just, give us a minute on that right there.
No, I'm just saying, it is there.
We'll work that route, and I'll make some phone calls this week.
Okay. All right, so everybody clear on that? We're gonna address it at the workshop next month. Okay, Mr. Truitt, Communication Committee purchase school repeaters.
Good morning.
Good morning.
As discussed at the workshop, y'all wanted me to do some further testing at the Vernon schools. Officer Jenkins and myself went to the school yesterday morning. We did some testing, did find some issues. We used 2 different radios to make sure it wasn't an equipment problem. 2 different radios off of the repeater system and one of the radios on the repeater system. The repeater system did fix all the dead issues. Completely fixed them. So I'm here today requesting that we put that secondary repeater system in at the Vernon School.
Do we need, I mean, has the communication committee met?
I emailed everyone after I left there, asked them to respond through email, and I got a unanimous from everybody. I mean, it's,
Okay.
everybody said yes.
Jeff, we still need to form that to where, upon the approval of the committee in actual meeting?
Yeah, I would go ahead and approve contingent on formal approval by the committee, and then once they approve it, it's done. They don't have to wait to come back here.
What I need is a motion to approve the Chipley and Vernon upon the approval of the communication committee in a meeting.
I'll make a motion that we approve adding a repeater to Chipley and Vernon high schools. Well, Chipley's to be the middle school and high school.
Chipley's repeater system is going to be at the middle school. The physical location of that repeater is going to be at the middle school, but it's going to cover all 3 schools. The repeater system for the Vernon schools is actually going to be at the EMS station on that huge tower, so it can get over some trees and stuff, and it'll cover all 3 schools there.
Very good. So I'll make a motion that we approve the purchase of 2 repeater systems for the Chipley schools and Vernon schools, pending the approval of the communications committee.
I'll second that.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Goodman, is it okay for us to, do we have to actually have physically everybody in one room and do it, or can we do it over a phone?
I would recommend you hold a physical meeting.
Okay, all right. Well, because of us wanting to get this off the plate, get it taken care of, we're probably going to call a special meeting just to cover that.
Well, I mean, Chipley's already done because that was already approved prior.
Yes, sir.
Vernon's the only one that y'all have been able to address.
Okay.
But it gives you somewhere to start.
Yeah.
All right, thank y'all.
Appreciate it, Mr. Wood.
All right, Public Works Director, Mr. Tom Terrell.
I actually don't have much, but what I do have is an item that didn't make it on the agenda that I'm going to request commission approval for as a walk-on item. It has to do with the county policy regarding leave. We have one employee who was out, gave us notice, doctor's note, everything else, and had to dip into his what we call a critical emergency leave bank. And if that dip is more than 40 hours, it requires commission approval. This employee needs 43 hours out of his bank, and his bank has 474 hours. Then it's Dwayne Pippin. I'm just asking for commission approval for that.
I'll make a motion, we approve that.
I wouldn't think so, just because, I'm sorry, go ahead, Chairman.
I'm gonna look at Jeff, you might as well go ahead. Go with it. Go ahead, Alan.
It's a county policy. It's basically the it's already in the policy. If you're making policy, I would think that you'd have to address it and give the public a chance to comment. All we're doing is following the policy itself. So it's just a routine personnel issue that should never be coming before the board anyways.
You're just allowing the man to use his own time.
That's exactly right. It shouldn't even be there. You shouldn't even have such a thing.
They've been 39 hours, there was an administrative leave. The reason I only found out about this Tuesday afternoon.
So, another motion?
I made a motion that we.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you.
Bishop?
You didn't have to. Board approved some of the use. Special critical emergency leave. That's what we have to approve, not extended vacation leave. You know, something like that.
That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. Mr. Engineer, did you enjoy the pledge today?
That shirt tucked in, hair on the back, but he's making business today. I'm not sure. If he had a sports coat on.
Is his contract up for
If
renewal?
he had a sports coat on, I'd get up and leave.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Just got a couple things. I think the main thing that I was supposed to do some homework on and bring back to you guys was the County Incentive Grant Program. It's a 50-50 matching program. You guys had some good ideas. It's supposed to take traffic off of state highways. And so the three projects we looked at were Orange Hill Highway from the end of pavement to Quail Hollow Road. We looked at Brown Street, which would take traffic off of Highway 90. And then we looked at Church Street, which would take traffic off of 277. Right? Yeah, 277. And so we looked at all three of those. All three are certainly eligible projects that would meet the criteria. So on Orange Hill Highway, the length of it is 0.93 miles, so it's just under 1 mile. In anticipation of heavy truck traffic, we did our estimate with 8 inches of lime rock base and 2 inches of asphalt. The total cost for that, which should include thermoplastic striping, sod, earthwork, the whole 9 yards, is $422,480. So your match on that roughly 1 mile stretch would be about $210,000. That project has, some advantages too, because there's so much traffic going back that direction. Certainly would connect to existing paved roads and make sense from a common sense perspective for sure. The next one that we looked at was Brown Street, which is 0.61 miles, so it's just a little bit over a half a mile. It would require some resurfacing. There's some areas that are going to require cutout and replacement with new base, where there's some base failure on it now. And our estimate on that is $118,490. So your match on that would be roughly, $60,000, call it. And then the last one that we looked at was Church Street. And Church Street right now is just getting pounded with logging traffic and lots of heavy truck traffic. I don't think that road was ever really meant for that kind of traffic that's on it right now, but there were some sections where some asphalt was missing, and I looked at the base. It's got about 6 inches of sand clay base underneath it right now, which is not really adequate for the traffic that's on the road. And so if I was going to try to fix Church Street, I would basically strip out the base that's there and replace it with 8 inches of lime rock also. And so it's only 0.27 miles, but my estimate to strip out the base and bring in new base on that is $135,000. So it's a short street, but I really don't feel like resurfacing and widening it with a 6-inch sand clay base is going to do you guys a lot of good. It would be a temporary fix at best.
Is that in the city of Vernon?
Yeah, I got to say, we worked on that this week. I spoke with myself and Mr. Hamilton, I spoke with the city of Vernon, and they are eligible for to apply for it as well in-house, and Ms. Shaw's been involved with it.
Right, this the Municipal Scout program is out right now.
Yeah, and my suggestion would be to the commission to allow them to apply for it and
Right.
And let Cliff work with them or whoever they see fit.
Yeah, it would be the same as Town of Wausau when they did 4th Street. The municipalities are actually eligible for scout programs right now.
So Vernon's gonna take care of this one?
Yeah.
So we don't need to address it?
It's a city street.
It's a city street.
Right. So we're just on Brown Street or Orange Hill.
Does that program have a lot of money?
Yes.
Can we apply twice?
Yeah, they've got, I think, $9 million. I think they've got $9 million this year for municipalities.
And they only want us to submit one project?
Not you guys, the city of Vernon would have to submit it.
I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
and they're, I'll give you the contact information so you.
Yeah, so in the past, the town of Wausau, for example, submitted theirs.
So they're gonna
On the other two, being Brown Street and Orange Hill Highway,
Yeah.
can we submit only one?
They've asked for one, that's correct. And when you said, is there a lot of money, I was thinking the municipal scout program. I think they said there's something like $2.5 or $3 million in SIGP this year, something in that range. So there's not a tremendous amount of money in that. The scout for municipalities is $9 million, so there's a lot of money there.
On Brown Street, the one thing we'd want to do if Brown Street was submitted, which I'm not saying that would be my priority, I'd like to fill in that gap of unpavement on Orange Hill, but if we did Brown Street, one thing that we always want to remember is that side street, and I can't think of the name of it, is it First Street?
There's a couple of, yeah.
That we've had the complaints over, because the city paid at least half of it.
That was 8th Street. Wasn't it 8th? It's 8th.
That either way, we need to remember that. Whenever we do Brown Street, we need to pick up that other,
Yeah.
it's a short little section of road.
Cliff, you remember that?
The city paved at least half the road, and then they stopped.
Yeah, like 2/3 of it.
So then there's one little section that's
Not paved.
not paved. Well, it's paved, but it's,
I think it's 8th Street, isn't it?
I thought it was First, but it doesn't matter.
In other words, if
I think
you,
it's first.
It is First?
in other words, if you did Brown Street, you'd want to tie in the rest of that pavement that got left off on
Yeah, I don't know
that side street.
how we missed out on that. That was just poor communication between us and the city. You know, we could have just paid a little extra and had it done, but we didn't know, so. But that's not my favorite would be Orange Hill, but I would rather, if we do anything in Brown Street, just don't forget that little section. It'd be bad if we do that, the city's done that, and we still don't have that small section done.
I kind of want to wait and get with the city, to be honest with you. This Brown Street is tied to South Boulevard, and there's a lot of water line digs that's taking place. It's from the old Case Corner to the red line there at CVS. And there's just still a lot of dips. I guess we're going to have a meeting here in the near future with the city, and that's some of the topics that I want to talk about. What can we do about that? And
So
How you put a brand new road over bad utilities.
So what are we're looking at 211,000 or so if we apply for Orange Hill.
Yes, sir.
The CP, I'll make a motion that we turn in that section of Orange Hill from the end of pavement to the,
it would be Buckhorn Boulevard. I'm sorry, Quail Hollow is actually the name of it. It would be the intersection of Quail Hollow on one side, I think it's Hartford or something.
Yes.
On the other side.
I'd love to see that. I'd love to see that done.
I'll second that motion.
okay.
all in favor?
And Cliff, whenever you address River Road with the DOT, just in case they're not familiar with which road that is, let them know that that is part of their old secondary system, really, I guess. But it's one of the county's primary paved roads, and that it's whatever, 18 or 19 miles in length, and we like 2 miles or less, but it's all dirt now. And it doesn't, you know.
And they got a nice bridge in the middle.
Yeah, and $1 million bridge right in the middle of that dirt road section, so that should be one that they would.
What's it, a $4 million bridge, $2 million
It's an expensive bridge. It's
expensive.
They sure should look highly favored upon that.
But it's like, you know, it doesn't make sense. You got a nice road, pretty nice road, and then all of a sudden it just stops and turns to dirt for the last 2 miles.
It connects you to a lot of opportunities in there, you know, you go to a lot of places off of it.
Yeah, I think they'll give that project good consideration. I mean, they're certainly familiar with the bridge that just got put in out there. And it does look a little silly when you're driving down a 16-foot wide dirt road. You go up to a $4 million
I
bridge.
get comments similar to that all the time.
Okay, so I appreciate that. So I think CIGP is under control. And then your consent order took care of our two Scott projects. As far as scrap projects, the one that kind of, I've looked through the list that came from Public Works and roads that I'm familiar with, and I think Cope Road is probably one of the better scoring roads that needs to be on your scrap list. So I've discussed it with Tom. Tom agrees that Cope Road would probably be kind of the #1 priority on scrap. There's two that we could submit, and I'm scheduled to meet with Tom tomorrow to ride some roads. And so I'd like to see if the board would let me and Tom pick the second road, if you guys are okay with Cope.
Yeah.
Did we ever find out if Bonnet Pond's still on, in the system somewhere?
Say again now?
Bonnet Pond, that northern section?
Yeah,
Is it in the system anywhere?
I looked on the DOT 5-year program that they have online, and I did not see it. They show Kent Road, but I did not see the Bonnet Pond for some reason.
We turned it in last year.
We did.
Yeah,
And I
looked at.
Yeah, and I thought, I thought it would have scored well enough to get funded.
Was that a road that we can do this time?
We could make that one of the scrap projects. I mean, it hasn't been resurfaced in a very long time.
We're gonna look at it, and with Cope Road being the first, and I'll make that in the form of a motion, Mr. And you and Tom look at it.
Okay.
Look at all your options.
We may call DOT and see if DOT knows anything that's not on their website too, because they may have it somewhere that it's not published or
It should be in the
whatever.
system somewhere.
I remember approving that or something.
Yes, I thought.
Okay, well, we'll check on that, and if it's, for example, if it didn't score high enough and it's not part of their consideration right now, then we'll make that our #2 road, if that's okay with you guys.
And one other thing that I needed to bring up is Randy Peel had contacted me about Hutchinson Road, and just wanted to bring that to light, that it is a connector road between 277 and 90, and that's something we might want to consider in the future whenever we're looking at, possibly CP grants or any other type of funding. He didn't mention the funding, but it is a cut-through road, and it's...
A lot of people lives on it.
Yep.
In the short term, if we can mill it.
It needs some work.
Yeah, got the pit there.
Very good time. We need to get some work. Right away, or let people know that we intend to do it.
Well, yeah, Cliff, how much? How long was that road, Tom? You remember?
Which one?
Hutchinson.
About a mile and a half, 2 miles.
Yeah, it's not as,
How much would it cost to go ahead and survey that out and design?
I'm not real familiar with that road. I'm sure I've been on it, but I don't know how long it is or.
It's just
it's
right
right next
here.
to Chance, goes from 90 and south, connects to 277.
Comes out right there at the I-10 bridge.
Gotcha.
Just outside.
On the Vernon Highway.
Headed out towards Vernon.
Gotcha. I mean, I can put something together for you guys.
If you don't mind, because I mean, Steve's correct that we're gonna have to, there's gonna have to be some work done even before we mill it. And so while we're in the process, maybe we could go ahead and get it lined out to be set up to,
Be a good chance to feel out the property owners in that area. If we improve the road enough and then just put mill material on it, we'd at least know going forward how they, or even, what if you got them donate the right of way just to mill it? Line the roadway, get it all as close to standards as you can, what standards we have, and then
That's
mill
kind of what I'm
it.
looking
And then
at.
in the future, all we have to do is go back and pave it.
And that's what DOT likes to see, is skin in the game, isn't it?
and so if we can kind of figure that out, and, because, I mean, it's a beautiful drive through there, and there's a lot of nice trees, and I just don't know what.
A lot of people lives in it.
Yeah, I just don't know what,
It's what gets cut through.
but I don't know how connected they are to their trees, and that's, we gotta get to that point.
Yeah, the road in there, in a lot of areas, it needs to be wide.
Yeah, same on the backside. Yeah, same thing on Owens Pond Road off 77. When you go down the road, if you meet a car, one, you got to give up, back up till you get to a point where y'all can get through. So it'd be great if we could look at that road, maybe figure out how we can widen it so you can pass on the road. We've had quite a few people call.
There's trees right up to the head.
Yeah, it's just there. Some spots as narrow as 12 foot.
So on Hutchinson, you want to get a survey and an alignment so that we can have community meetings, kind of like what we were talking about doing on Kent Road?
Estimate.
Yeah, start with that, start with the estimate,
Okay.
and see where we're at, and then,
Okay.
it not being very long, it shouldn't break the bank, but,
Okay.
and then kind of start finding out what their feelings are, then that will let us know in the future if we need to try to pave it or not.
Okay. And the same deal on Owens Pond?
Yeah, just look at Owens Pond when you first turn off 77. 2 vehicles can't pass. They're having to back up to allow vehicles come in and out of that road. There's quite a few people that down the road too.
Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we'll look at that.
And while we're discussing that, and we've hit it pretty well, the nail on the head, a lot of these old roads that we've got, the dirt roads, the trees and vegetation have grown into the road over the years, and we've got to start looking at doing some, widening on some of these dirt roads, because they are dangerous. There's a lot of roads you can't pass anybody.
I get bonnet line, I get called on all the time.
I'll give the county administrator a couple of packets on some chippers that goes on these wheeled excavators. We could that'll go a long ways getting the vegetation off the roads, and they'll do a larger tree. And I think we just got a little money from selling some vehicles. It'd be a great time for the board to maybe look at moving forward with that.
Well, go ahead and just throw it out there, and we'll.
Let's know what we've got before we start.
I know what we got. I was there in attendance of it.
All I'm saying is,
I can tell you the opinion what we got.
but let's look at what the chipper costs.
I probably try to tell you that too. He's got the packets on the desk there. Yeah.
Good work, job.
Well, I want to get started this week.
Oh, you want me to start there?
But if we can go ahead and start looking that way, maybe we can get some ideas for the workshop when we come around.
Yes, sir.
All right, so the other 2 things that were on my list was directed to have a conference call with Alex Webster, with Commissioner Abbott. I've spoken with Alex. He said to just give him a call when we're together and available.
Yeah.
And so, if you want to try them after the meeting, we can do that.
Actually involved in this is going to be Hank and Jeff and myself.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. He said just give him a call when we got it whatever together.
Okay.
So we'll do that after the meeting today, if that's okay.
Yep.
And then the last thing I had was on Kent Road. You guys asked me for to put together a cost for the survey in order to come up with an alignment so that we can maybe go to DOT and request some advanced funding. We've been back through it. There's some wetlands that we need to try to get delineated as part of that also, so that we get our alignment based on something that we know we can permit. And so the survey, the wetlands, and the alignment is $24,500. And visited the site with my surveyors last week. Went through it to make sure that we had money in there to identify the big trees that we know are going to be an issue, so that we have them shown on the survey, so that when we meet with the neighbors, we'll know where their mailbox is and where their oak tree is. So we have that included as well. And then picking up all the wetland flags from the biologist.
I'll make a motion that we allow Cliff to move forward with doing the alignment survey, wetland delineation, and significant trees identified.
Yep, there'd be the survey, the wetland delineation, and the alignment.
And I'll second it.
All in favor?
That's the big ticket items I had on my list. If you guys got anything else you want to talk about, I'll be happy to do it.
The race on Kirkland Road to beat the pipe.
We just got our survey done. Survey is completed. And so we're actually getting started on the design work right now. It's just a resurface job, so it's not terribly difficult, but we're going to try to have the design submitted to DOT within the next 2 weeks.
And how long do we have on that permit?
March 18th.
This has all been approved, though. I mean,
Yeah.
what do we design? I mean, I don't understand what the holdup is on this.
Well, there's not really a
They
holdup.
already give us approval, hadn't they?
Yes, sir. In fact, you got your notice to proceed maybe Friday? You got your notice to proceed Friday. We've already completed the survey.
Okay.
So I've got to submit a set of plans to DOT. DOT has to review and approve the plans and specs before we can put it out for bid. So, I mean, today's Thursday. I was feeling pretty good about having the survey done already.
I thought we had the survey.
No, sir. The only thing we surveyed was right there at the culvert crossing.
Sure, we're not paying you twice for that, Cliff?
No, sir. I promise you. Yeah. Yeah, so anyways, we'll come up with a game plan on making sure that we have started work on that culvert so that we don't have a problem with our Army Corps friends. So any other questions or issues that I can try to field? The last thing is we took bids yesterday on your rock. Of course, they came in substantially over what the FEMA PWs were for. I think the PWs were for 2.2 or 3 million, and I think our low bid was 3.4 or 3.5, something like that. So about $1 million difference. I think what we want to do is go through and make sure that everything that was submitted is correct and proper. I need to go through it with Jeff and make sure he's good, and then I think what we would probably like to do is maybe have you guys have a special meeting in a week or maybe 2 after we have kind of got everything vetted, if that's okay with you guys. I mean, I would rather not wait until your next commission meeting, and I know you guys aren't big on having special meetings, but it's kind of a big deal because we need to get the things moving.
I'm tired of hearing about rock. We'll have all the special meetings we want.
Yeah. So anyways, I'll get with Hank and Tom, line that up, and then I'll go through everything with Jeff and make sure we got our I's dotted and T's crossed. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you, Cliff. Well, I guess we're up to old county administrator, Hank Hamlin.
Yes, sir. Good morning, gentlemen. First off, the county-owned property, we got a bid back from Miss Grant for the Summer House Drive property. She put in a bid of $2,501. The assessed value of the land is $3,400. Her bid was $2,501. That's the only bid we received. So it's up to the board if they would like to accept it, reject it, counter. Your decision. We currently we've owned that property since 2005.
Does she plan on building on the property?
No, she is not.
She knows the value of the property it's been.
She does. She has access to the property appraisers.
Yeah. I would like to recommend, if I may, Mr. Chairman, that we go back and if she can give us the assessed value, I would vote to approve it.
Because the assessed value is even lower than probably what
Yeah.
If she accepts that, would the board approve us going ahead with the
My
transaction?
recommendation would be so, yeah.
Okay.
Do y'all agree with that?
Do we make a motion on that?
I'll make a motion if she'll give us the assessed value for that property that we sell it. Other than that, I want it to come back to the board.
I'll second that motion.
And I'll
Motion second, all in favor? Aye.
We have another scenario in Sunny Hills off of Killian Place. Mr. Weekly is wanting to purchase the adjacent property. He has one neighbor to the south and one Deltona to the north. He would like to, currently the lot is valued at $1,800, and he would like to purchase the lot, but we would have to follow the same procedures that we did with the summer house. So if the board would approve, I will send out certified letters to the adjacent landowners and requesting if they would like to bid on the property, they can. And if, wait 10 days, get a response.
I'll make a motion that you proceed with that. Jeff, is there any way that we could make a cross-the-board motion to where Hank's got authority just to go through that process without having to bring each one before the board?
Yeah, we could have kind of a standalone process by which if there is a property owner who is interested in purchasing a county lot and it qualifies statutorily under the assessed value threshold, that we go ahead and start the process of contacting adjoining landowners by certified mail. That way we can see what the quote bids are on the property or interest is in the property and then bring that back to you.
It seems like a more efficient process because instead of him bringing it this way and then bringing it back and then bringing it back, he could just bring it to us and say, we've done this, here's what we've been offered, do you want to go or not go? And then over time, if it seems like the board pretty much holds to assessed values, property owners.
But this is not something that's been big to happen.
No, but it's kind of, the word's getting out there now.
I'd like to see some advertisement of that, maybe through the media outlets, social media or something. The county has land for sale, and see our county administrator with details.
In fact, if they'll build a house on it, I'm forgiving it to them.
Listen, I'll kick that can, fellas. Y'all know where I feel about that. I want Wash County on one piece of property we're not using.
As long as the assessed value is fair, you know, that's only the problem. When you have an assessed value that's more than the property's worth, then you can get into mine. But most, these.
Yes, sir.
If they build a house on it, I'd give it to them. I'd vote to give it to them.
Yeah, I don't know if we can legally, but.
$1. We could creatively make sure that they are enticed to purchase it if we went that direction.
Okay.
There's a motion on the table.
What was the
Well,
motion
it's kinda-
we had first? Are you gonna rescind and redo?
That would be
From
nice.
Commissioner Bush, to proceed, tell the county administrator to proceed, and we didn't want a second.
Well, let me rescind that motion to Ms. Risha, and with Jeff's guidance, I'll make a motion that we give the county administrator the authority to, when a adjoining property owner requests to purchase or expresses an interest to purchase county-owned property, an adjoining property owner makes a request to purchase county property, that the county administrator be given the authority to contact other neighboring properties and let them know that it's for sale and go ahead and solicit and accept bids. Would that be good?
That'll work pursuant to the statute, yes.
Pursuant to the statutes.
Mr. Goodman, does it have to be an adjacent property owner?
Yeah, so basically what the statute says is if the assessed value or the value of the property is less than a certain threshold, we don't have to go out for mass bid on that property. We have an expedited process where we can contact adjoining property owners and see if there is interest, give them time to express interest, and then if there's multiple bids, you go through those. If there's one, you deal with that one. But because there's a value to the property, we have to do some sort of process before we sell it. We could always do it mass, but that's just a little bit more formal and takes a little bit longer. We have done something similar, Mr. Commissioner, in the past where we had a mass attempt to sell most of the lots that we had.
How do we go about doing that again?
Former Mr. Durant was in charge of that process, but basically we had a list for the public to go and look at, and I even think we may have marketed some of the properties at certain events, or we had a plan to market those properties.
We never attended that event, though.
For parliamentary reasons, I'll second Mr. Bush's, Commissioner Bush's motion, and then I'll get that done.
All in favor?
Is there any way we could task y'all, the attorney and the administrator with that, maybe putting something together, a mass?
There's a list somewhere.
So we can go ahead and at least put these properties back in the public's hands, or try to work to get property back in
The
public's hands.
consideration would be the price of advertising, and so.
I wouldn't want to advertise the property in the big, I say Wash County's got property for sale in these areas. Could we do that?
I'm sure you can word the advertisement to.
I don't just, legally, I know we can do it, I just want to make sure.
No, I'm just saying, I think last time we did, we sold two.
Well, what I remember from the last time we tried this, Mr. Commissioner, was basically we set the minimum bid at the assessed value. We picked lots or properties that we did not think the county would need in the future and we thought would be fairly marketable lots. We got two bids at the assessed value.
Mr. Town, property is coming back up a little bit now, correct? You know,
Very slowly in Sunny Hills.
Yeah, real estate's moving.
Yeah, it started, I see, you know, my realtor friends are starting to sell a little bit, and I just think I'd like to strike with a maybe Irons.
We should have a fresh list, yeah. We should. Probably 2 years ago.
They're in the list.
Yeah, if they don't know you got it for sale, we sure can't move it.
Jim was instrumental in that.
Yeah.
Gary Hart.
Oh,
Yeah, Gary made a list of the 50 lots in Sunny Hills that had sewer and water and were buildable. And that was the primary list that was marketed.
Okay. So we could, even if we just put that same list back out there.
Yeah, we'd have to check that it's still valid, but I think it is.
Okay.
One of the other things that we had on that list too was whether the county had gone through the process of getting the tax deed cleared and had clear title to it too. Because that's a $2,500 expense that somebody has to pick up if you sell a lot. And that list had sewer and water, clusters of lots together, and that you own clear title.
I'll work on it, sir. If there's nothing else on that, I have a meeting schedule change is my next topic. Due to some scheduling conflicts, we would request that a March, September, October date be looked at for consideration as opposed to the ones that's already on the calendar.
We've got October 16th on here, that needs to be October 23rd.
Yeah.
23rd.
October, you change to the 23rd?
Yeah.
I would like for March to go we've got a county commission meeting on the 23rd. I'd like for the workshop to be on Wednesday, the 22nd.
Day before?
Yes, because I'm gonna be out of town that whole week too. Trey.
Good, I'm glad our schedule's complete.
So
So y'all just put it on me, and everybody else wants to speak up.
They're not conflicting. Well, I just,
Yeah, hey, I'm glad.
that's March. That's spring break for Washington
See,
County
Mr.
School.
Joyner, it wasn't just me.
You're welcome.
I actually thought it was me, so.
Oh.
Oh, I don't remember telling me that. So we're moving it to
March the 22nd?
What do we want to do with September?
Yeah.
What is that?
Somebody, that was a holiday for somebody.
Probably one of the courts.
It
is. It is Rosh Hashanah Day.
Can we just back up?
Cool, yeah.
What? In September?
So we're gonna do the 22nd for the workshop?
When is the county commission meeting in September?
It's a 20.
21st.
Because there's already a reason that we moved it.
Okay,
Yeah,
so September was the 21st?
The September meeting's at what day now?
It was scheduled for the 21st as it says.
No, that's Saturday. Oh, September.
Yeah.
21st is on a Thursday?
That's correct.
But it's back that
I've
far.
got it 28.
Well, that
Let me
was,
give it the list.
so 28th was like Commissioner Kent, or Chairman Kent said, was we'd already decided to move it back one week
Yeah,
earlier.
because there's some kind of conference or something, there's a reason that it's the 21st. I got you.
Okay. I still had it on 28th, so we're moving it to the 21st.
Well, no, we can't.
20th
There's a
and
holiday.
21st will be adopted, right as it stands right now.
Can we just make it the Wednesday, like the 20th?
That's what it is, the Wednesday, they're off, the Wednesday is the board meeting, the 21st, you guys are off, so we can just have one meeting and do it the 20th.
Workshop, just do the whole thing.
Yeah,
Just do the 20th.
and just have one meeting is what I,
September was that one meeting on the 20th?
A workshop prior to the commission.
Workshop and meeting all the same.
Just be a meeting, the old school.
Oh,
I used to have.
Oh, there we go. That'll be interesting.
one meeting.
And then for October,
So you
It'll
good
be
break.
all day.
Yeah, but eat a good breakfast that day, Joe.
October
Get a
23rd.
payday out of the machine.
So that's the 20th, we don't do that?
So March the 22nd is the workshop, the 23rd is the board meeting, October 23rd is the board, is workshop and county commission meeting.
September.
Mr. Meetings. It'll just be.
September when you combine them.
And then we're changing the workshop in October to October 23rd.
That's on a Monday.
And then we have a meeting.
Board meeting's on Thursday. You can move it all the same, it doesn't matter to me, I just can't be here the 16th.
Oh, you're
I can't be here.
I see, now the truth comes out.
Which one are we doing now?
We have March 22nd, we're talking about October.
Okay, now what are we gonna do in October?
23rd workshop, 26th meeting.
23rd?
In October?
Correct.
So a Monday and a Thursday.
And then 20th.
Is there any way we can move that up a week?
We can do whatever the board decides.
But I mean, I don't, just, I don't know.
Yeah, I'll be out all week.
On what week?
October the 6th, 19th, the week of, what is that? 15th?
Y'all just set it on that time you want to.
Yeah, I'm out.
March
16th.
Don't just tell
Out
me.
16th to the 19th. You got a workshop now?
Yeah, it's me, I can.
No.
I had to drive in from
I can't drive in for that one.
We'll accommodate you, Mr. Dorner, I promise you, to make sure you're here for that.
We have a voice phone, we can call him.
Oh, yeah, I got this thing up here that's sitting over here somewhere.
I'll put it in.
You out?
So the 26th is gonna be the meeting now, of October.
Correct.
Okay.
23rd workshop, 26th meeting, October.
The media got that all under control, but there's no way that y'all, we just remote the whole calendar and watch the
I
calendar.
can be here 16th, ain't no problem.
And Mr. Chairman, if I could get a motion to approve those dates.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, are you seriously not gonna be?
October, no, I won't be here that September.
Why not combine them the same day like we did one in September?
Yeah, what day will you be back in October?
29th.
What was the initial cause for moving October?
I won't be here.
You won't be here.
You want to go back to this, so you gonna be here the 16th?
No, he's gonna be.
It's been moved back to the, on Friday the 13th, no, we're not doing that day.
No.
How long are
Can we do it the 12th?
That's the only time I'm worried about.
What?
That week's not any good.
It's right there.
Well, you can move it back. What is the,
Why did you move it to the 12th?
I can do anything that is.
I'll be leaving on the 12th and be back.
What about that, what about the 11th?
We can do it on the 11th.
Okay.
Let's just do a combine on the 11th.
Okay, October 11th.
Y'all killing me here.
Working the
Workshop 11th.
Working our calendars.
The meeting still stays on the 26th.
No.
No, let's just do it all that day.
Alan's gonna,
Adam's going
he's
26th.
gonna have to miss both of them if.
Well, no, let's fix it. We'll be about back.
Let's just do it all the
Let's
11th.
do it all of them.
October 11th.
11th.
Yeah.
That'll work.
I'm still working on October.
Yeah.
Yeah.
October 11th for the
We got
votes.
money to go places. We got one on be gone a week, this is gonna be gone a week, that's gonna be gone a week. And it don't matter to me because I'm always here.
And October is the month, huh?
So October 11th is gonna be the workshop and the meeting.
Yes, sir.
So forget about the 23rd and 26th.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Cool.
Goes the mountain.
All right, one more time. March 22nd,
Yep.
September the 20th, it's gonna be workshop and meeting. And then October 11th, it's gonna be workshop meeting.
That's right.
Cool.
Thank you.
Two back-to-back meetings, we workshop that meeting, so.
That used to be the way it was.
I know come November, we'll be.
Somebody make a
we'll be
motion,
leaving in November.
So moved. I make a motion that we accept these dates.
Second.
Motion, second, all in favor?
My last name, sir, is the waste management contract. Jeff and Ronnie Bell and myself met together and discussed terms of contract renewal, where the
He excluded me in vocabulary.
Oh, my apologies,
But it's okay.
Commissioner
He handled it all by himself.
No, actually, I didn't do much talking that meeting. So anyway, so we would like to renegotiate that, approve the renegotiations of that contract where the CPI goes to garbage, or GT for 2 years, then up to WST for the remaining 3 years. We define the definition of exempt at a rate of $7.76 for whatever that definition turns out to be between a mutual agreement, Waste Management, and the county. We have 3 cleanups a year, winter, spring, and fall, where Waste Management will provide a 20-yard, up to 4 20-yard dumpsters for the community to bring their cleanup materials, and a donation of a garbage truck.
And them dumpsters for them cleanouts will be placed wherever the county sees fit.
No, sir, they will be
No, they will be wherever the county sees fit.
Yeah.
Well, we agreed that it would be at the
recycling
center.
If we have a concern that we need it in one specific area, we can.
Yeah, he'd be happy to do that.
Yeah, he said.
Yeah, I see him shaking. I see him shaking his head. Yeah, that's all I know.
Well, that's up to you, Commissioner, and your staff.
They need it in Talladega, what's that week?
Next one.
Yeah.
So looking for a motion to approve the new contract negotiations.
And we will need to bring a formal contract to the board for approval in March. So I don't think we even need to approve that right now. That's more of an update.
Yeah, we're just.
We need a,
Sorry.
Yeah.
but that is what we have.
Negotiate.
That's what we negotiate.
And that's what we're gonna continue on until the contract is complete.
Yeah.
Counselor, can I just ask one question?
Yes, sir.
I have no argument with anything that's been said, but wouldn't you want a motion to at least extend the contract? Because you're
Well,
gonna expire next week.
Yeah, I mean, we're extending it pursuant to oral terms.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But nothing's gonna change.
Yeah, we can approve it to the oral terms if you wanted to, Jeff.
Yeah, if that would make Waste Management feel better, let's go ahead and do that.
Well, I'm just looking at the 28th of next week.
I'll make a motion that we approve the new contract as negotiated.
Really what we need, we're really on a month-to-month agreement now.
That's exactly right. That's all, I just didn't use the word extend.
Yeah. So we can approve for Waste Management to continue services in March contingent on a contract being approved. But that's as far as I want to go with that.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I'm good with that.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
I got one question on the new contract. The one thing that we've had in the past that has been utilized somewhat, but it's always at the discretion of the county administrator, county coordinator, county manager. And that's the exceptions for certain clientele, and there is no real definitive.
We're going to draw that up, and it's going to be agreed between us. But we did negotiate the price down further than what it is currently.
And it would be for what number? Is it unlimited?
No,
I think
there was no limitation on that, but I'm gonna be working with our staff at Waste Management, our billing people, and your county staff hopefully over the next week and identify exactly how many you have today. Because that number is, nobody has a good fix on it. And then what the attorney had brought forward, and what you're asking for, Commissioner, is something that was discussed in the negotiations to come up with the criteria and that both parties agree on and bring back to this board. We agree, you agree, and this is what be used. And then the other part of this is to have a tracking mechanism to know just, one is who has authority to prove it, two, who is on it, and then should be looked at annually. Conditions change with people. So that is something that was discussed, and we're going to work on that one. I'll work on that with your staff. The other thing I'd like to throw out that we discussed briefly is under the contract that was extended in 2012, it listed county offices that we provide service to at no charge. That list is a moving target. if you talk, what I'm saying, we had the original contract, I think when Mr. Joyner was here, and it has a list, but what I'm gonna do is formulate a form and work with your county manager on that, and I'm gonna use this, and I'm sure not getting into this debate about the library at Sunny Hills. Say if you closed it, no longer will be a garbage service there, I would take. So to have an add and delete little form that could be done by Mr. Hamilton's office, forwarded to us with the address, what you expect is a 2 yard, 6 yard, twice a week, 3 times a week, whatever. And then we would have a tracking mechanism between the two organizations. If, when I'm gone, when Hank's gone, whoever walks in would have a matrix, and here's how it is. So I can work with your staff on that.
Well, it's listing buildings now, I mean, but if they want addresses, that's fine.
Well, I just want to make sure that that's accurate, because if you go back and look at that 2012 contract, I was looking at it last night, there's a couple at the bottom that are listed, but out the side in parentheses it says question. It's got a question mark. So to me, and that's why I'm going to get our folks to say, what are we servicing today? Then get with your staff and say, are we servicing everything that's county owned at no charge? To make sure we're providing you the service we said we would.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, clarify that, right?
Yeah, that's all I'm asking.
Yeah, does that mean even like that library closes, it's still a county facility? It's still rented out, it's still a county community center?
That's the best example I had, though.
Yeah. It's not a question, it has service.
My only problem is that program hasn't ever been utilized to the fullest extent, and it's never been clear what makes you eligible and what doesn't. So it's just been at the discretion of the county administrator.
I think we have 2 people, and there was something else that we discussed. But since you was here and you want to talk about it, but there's something else for handicapped people, they'll come to you back door.
Yeah. What I'm trying to get at is, being as that program has never been utilized, and we're never going to make, it's not going to be available to all the public, all the county residents. It's going to be capped. So in other words, eventually, if it fills up, you're going to have to turn people away, and then you're going to have to track it and say, well, okay, this one's out of the program, they've moved, so now we can let one more in. Well, you're going to have a waiting list. I would rather just get away from that altogether and negotiate some form of amnesty days. If it's once a year, twice a year, I would rather provide that to the citizens of Washington County. I think it'd be better utilized than a program that's just a discretionary program.
We've already negotiated that.
I thought that's
3 times a year.
I thought that's what the dumpsters were for.
Can I speak real quick? A couple of things. There is no cap, and there has not been negotiated a cap to the discounted rate. So I don't anticipate there being a cap number. There is no cap now in the contract, and it was not negotiated to have a cap going forward. What we're going to do is define qualifiers for the discount and have staff be responsible for tracking the qualifiers. So our 2 goals were, you're exactly right, Mr. Bush, it is ambiguous as to who qualifies, so we will define who qualifies without a cap. So there is no wait list next year cap. The second thing is, we wanted to reduce the amount for the citizens who we thought needed it. And the third thing we tried to do is get what I think you're calling an amnesty day at least 3 times a year for other residents to dump. I do think there will be it will take staff time to track what you're saying, which is how do you qualify and how do you keep up with the qualified. But I don't want there to be any misinterpretation. Right now, there is no cap, and there's not anticipated to be a cap. There will be qualifications for residents to get that discounted rate.
But again, I just see this as being so difficult to administer, because I could probably qualify today. But now, hopefully in 6 months from now, my life's turned around. You know, who tracks those qualifications?
Once a year, we'll have to, as the administrator of the account, we will have to track it.
So
to readdress every one of them people that's on reduced services.
Yeah, I would.
So it's up to the individual to bring his W-2 form or his what to prove that because of reduced income, he's eligible for this program. The only reason I say that is when you rent in some of these buildings where you rent, and they're set up for either low income, some of them are set up for medium income. You have to prove you're in this middle, some of them you have to prove you're in the low income. It's a job to track that paperwork. I mean, it's an annual event, and it's a job for the person to have to put all this together.
Yeah.
And it's a job for the person administering it to be able to review it. And
Wouldn't they have to apply yearly? Yeah, annually.
well, that's what I mean. And then we're gonna have who to go through their paperwork to approve this.
Right now, how many do you have, Jackie?
Do what?
How many do you have right now?
People?
Uh-huh.
On that, that's what Ronnie built, Miss Tisha and I are working together to get that, we don't have the number yet.
And see, it's not advertised.
Now, there's more than 2, because previous years, the previous coordinator did it. Since I've been doing it, I've personally only put 2 on there. But there is some already on there, because people know about the program from their friends that's been previously, so there is no annual qualification.
That's what I mean, it's
Yeah,
never
there's no
been,
annual-
it's never been advertised.
You would have to
It's
do
never been
annual
advertised that
recertification.
the county even, I never knew about it until I got on the board. Never knew that you could apply and have a reduced garbage rate.
It's just something that worked out, somebody has.
When that's advertised, I would think people would try to utilize the program. But the problem is when you go to administer that program and do it fairly, not just come to Hank, and if Hank likes you, he says okay, and if Hank doesn't like you, he says no. You know,
Mr. Chairman, I think what Mr. Bush is saying, and he'd like to be put on that committee to set the criteria.
I'm just looking at it.
I thought we did a good job negotiating.
Yeah, I know a good job, I just think Mr. Bush probably wants to.
I mean, I think it was spelled out by Jeff that we're going to determine agreeable between our county and Waste Management of what the qualifications were going to be to get a reduced.
So we're going to set an income amount?
The criteria.
The criteria, whatever the criteria is.
I'm sure there'll be.
I think it's
something
out there that they're gonna look at, and then it's gonna go between them, because they've got to approve it, and then he's got to approve it, and we got to approve it.
You've got to run into this in other areas, I'm sure.
We do, and that's one thing I want to pull out the criteria that we use in other areas.
And we had discussed all
And
that.
come back and work with Mr. Goodman and Mr. Hamilton, something that we can all put together and bring back to you.
We'll let you apply out.
Because their attorneys have to agree with our attorney, and it's a process.
But if the consensus of the board is sitting here today, we do not want reduced rates because of staffing and other concerns, then that would be a good thing to know so that Ronnie and I can pivot and go in a different direction if that is something the board does not want.
I don't believe that's the, on my account, that's not.
On mine either. I do want to have the availability.
On my account.
For the,
You're right.
for the widow or widower and people on fixed income and you know, it can be quite a drain.
And I think commissioners.
I think we're also addressing in this contract, all commissioners, I think we're addressing, if you've got the white goods, the couches, the refrigerators, the stoves, the stuff that we're replacing and really don't have a place to put it 3 times a year if you want to get out there and clean your garage, winter, summer, and spring, fall, what we kind of agreed upon, that would accommodate that for all the residents in the county also. And then we're not going to change the system that y'all have put in place down there at the recycling center now. If you've got one in between, you know, you can still take it and put it there. So I think we've addressed all the concerns. The concerns that we haven't addressed is the criteria, and it was agreed for the legal team to do something that was, we're not reinventing the wheel, it's something that's already in place in other areas. And then they was going to bring that information back to us. So.
And you know, the one thing I have to say is it was a good process. You know, 2-hour negotiations. It lasted about 2 hours. Mr. Abbott was very civil to me. So I want to point that out. I know some of you may have thought he might not, but I guarantee you one thing, he bear down on me. So, and Jeff and Hank were there also, but Mr. Abbott did his job. Let's put it like that. But we appreciate you.
We appreciate you as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, that's all I have.
I have one question. Auction results, what kind of price we got? Yeah, we got the,
There's 80, we netted,
the rest of the
84.
commission probably will know.
I think the rest of the commission may know, but the, activity is 84,000 some odd dollars, I'll tell you.
How come I'm not one to do it good?
84,450.
I was there.
You actually know to the penny. I think what he
This is the
said.
first I've heard of. I didn't even know the auction had taken place.
Yeah,
84,450.
84.
And that's, originally we had talked about, that kind of helps recoup from the vehicles we purchased.
A long way from 30,000.
Yeah, a lot of, it's way above our estimate, so we're excited about that. Lord bless us.
Madam Clerk?
I don't have anything today.
Mr. Goodwin?
Just to remind the board of some things that are coming down the pipe. I'll be bringing at the workshop in March, proposed MSBU resolution for a committee, we will say, for your consideration. Also, we are working on getting the MSB mowing bid contract out. So that will be going out and coming back to you in the next month or two. And then we appreciate Caryville coming today, and we look forward to working with them and starting towards a transition time here. So we're cognizant of their request as well. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Jeff.
I have one question for Jeff, Mr. Chairman. With the new, more active council at Caryville, do we need to do anything more to support their efforts to improve the fire department than we've already done as we transition the fire department back to them? In other words, if they would like to make changes right now to the fire department,
Sure.
do they need to bring that before? Because it is a county fire department before us, and we need to make those changes, or at what point can they start making changes to the fire department themselves?
I would suggest to Mr. Commissioner and the board that until we hand them the keys to the car back over, that they come to us with whatever changes that they need to make in the department with the assistance of our fire chief. I told Hank that my position is we want to be as flexible as we can with them to make sure that their department looks the way they want it to look. So I would, unless it's way out in left field, I would suspect that we will be very flexible with them while we're transitioning to make sure that they get it looking like they want it to look.
My concern with that is we're putting some requirements on them. As they proceed forward, we're expecting you to get approval for this. Once you prove that you're spending the money in the proper way, we'll turn the fire department back over to you. I just want them to have the levity to make changes. In other words, don't tell me that you want to see improvements, but then at the same time, not let me make the necessary changes that I need to do to make those improvements. So as long as you and Hank are comfortable with that process and know that, it's
On personnel issues, as far as it being a volunteer service, would our fire coordinator be qualified for them to be the liaison to go through instead of the council, the commission itself?
I thought so.
I was assuming he
That was happening.
was.
Okay,
Was
yeah,
asking
so
that.
they don't need to bring any personnel, or all that we're asking for is a documentation of their expenditures, correct?
I don't want to turn the checkbook book.
No, we're not doing that
I think
route.
we can give them their budget and they approve it through our fire coordinator, Hank, whoever Hank wants to. But the personnel, they can, I'm free giving it back to them except for the checkbook.
I don't know that Washington County brings their personnel stuff. I bet
No, I
they
would,
do. I don't know here.
I'd hope that we never get that deep into the fire department.
So I think that Hank and his staff have got the ability to manage that fire department until we hand them the keys, but being cognizant that we're trying to get it back to them and let them have some discretion on how it runs.
Absolutely.
As far as I'm concerned, they can have it other than spending the funds if they.
I believe that's kind of
And I
the
think
way
we
we
would
address it.
support that with our fire coordinator, Hank. I don't know of anybody that doesn't want to have it.
No, I want them to have it. I don't want anything to be done there that makes the county liable. I don't want to be in a lawsuit and going to Tallahassee, which I've done before with volunteer fire departments, and Jeff has too. And you sit over in mediation over a volunteer, and it seems extreme, but it's not. And so their actions are the board's actions, in other words. So
How do we,
I just want to make sure that whatever handoff we have, I want to empower them to the fullest extent, because I want them to make all the necessary improvements. But I don't want to put the county financially liable over actions that Caryville is taking.
Mr. Goodman, how do we prevent that?
So they're yours, okay? So just like Washington County is yours.
Yeah.
You're liable for them. So as long as they're yours, you're liable. My ideal and goal is to get them back up on their feet again and hand them the keys.
I thought that's what we did last
During that process, you've got a county manager and a fire chief that should be, with the county's eyes, making sure we don't get over to Tallahassee and stopping it before we do. So what I said is it doesn't necessarily have to come before this board. It still has to be managed to try to keep us out of trouble, whatever they're doing over there. So it's still, it's a management issue to me more than anything else. But if here was the backside. Can we just give it back to them? Well, yeah, you can give it back to them, but it's theirs.
Okay.
So when you give somebody something back, it's always harder to go get it back from them again.
I agree. We're not.
So when you want to give it back, we can give it back pretty quickly. But just understand.
As long as we keep the financial side of it, we're still in ownership.
Yeah, but once you took it from them at their request somewhat, but once you took it, you're liable for it.
Okay, my question is, just as soon as we get we're giving the management over to the city to run the operations, everyday operations of the fire department, but we're still holding the financial side of it. So does that still put us in liability, means that we're somewhat attached to it? Okay.
Yes.
And Jeff, can correct me if I'm wrong, but it actually, we're not going to hand it over until we reach an interlocal agreement with them, which may be 60, 90 days down the road, once they've.
My understanding, and if the board wants me to go in a different direction, or Hank, we'll be glad to do it. My understanding from the board was your desire was to begin the process of getting them back up on their feet over, let's say, 60, 90 days. If the board wants to hand it back over to them and just have a PO requirement or whatever requirement you're gonna have in that interlocal with just respect to funding, we can do that in March if you wanna do that, and just basically say it's yours, but from a money standpoint, we're gonna monitor differently how we get you processed, if that's what you wanna do. And in that situation, though, we're not on the hook as liable, and the reason is we're basically treating them a lot like we're treating the city of Chipley, the city of Vernon, where basically we're just giving funding for service. They're almost a third-party contractor to provide service in the unincorporated areas of the county. If we did that, it would reduce our liability. But you've handed the keys back over to them other than how you're giving them money for whatever they're doing. And if that's the direction the board wants to take, I'll be glad to run that way. I was thinking more the interlocal was going to occur May, June-ish. But if you want it done in March, we can expedite it and get it done in March.
And we don't have any problem with what you're doing with personnel. If you need to swap people out, swap them.
Yes, sir.
However they want to swap them. I mean, I'm good with that, with the supervision, with y'all managing it.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Curtis, as a commissioner, I do ask you, if we're going to stay with the way Mr. Goodman recommended, that we keep in constant contact and make sure that everything's going according to as the county sees fit.
Yes, sir.
It's not so much my recommendation that we keep them for 90, 120 days. What I want to tell you is if you give it back to them other than the funding and you don't like how it's going over there, it's just always a pain to have to.
I agree.
I know the paper's going to be good. We'll end up in court talking about it. You know.
I completely agree, but like I said, the way it is set now, let's be sure our I's are dotted and T's are crossed to protect us as the county.
I know they do want to make personnel changes.
Yes.
The city of Caryville wants to immediately make some personnel changes, and
they want to put some of their own people in there, and it'll all be good. Mr. Cliff.
We were talking about that for a long time.
You want to carry the fire department?
He's on much press he can get today. Look at
Yeah, you probably don't want me responding to a fire, I'm pretty sure. I was thinking about Kent Road, and I remembered that we need the chairman to be able to sign a letter requesting the advance funding from DOT on Kent Road, so that they'll advance that, so that any money that you guys expend, you can get back when it comes back up on their program. And I didn't want to miss this opportunity to try to get that done. So I forgot about it. It's my fault.
So move with that request, the chairman be able to sign that.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you.
Back to the fire department if you wish, or
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we
adjourn.
adjourn this meeting.
Anybody got a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Yeah, clear.